Hey everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Traveria42 and we're going to be playing some Rimworld today. With this, I'm going to be trying a kind of, how do I want to say, a little challenge for me. So I'm not very familiar with Rimworld overall compared to a lot of people. A lot of people have thousands of hours. I've only got about 40 at this time. What I want to do is kind of a Lost Tribe, a little bit Brothers scenario on Randy Random with Losing is Fun, which I have never done before. So this shall be very challenging, we shall see. And it could actually be a very short series. But with that, we are going to be creating a new game. My goal is to basically kind of play it without jumping ahead in the research tree. We want to kind of stick around and research as much as possible, kind of like going from one column to the other of what makes sense and what may be useful. We don't want to go straight for electricity, or we don't want to go straight as far in as possible and skipping some things. Here on the world, since we're playing on a difficulty that I am somewhat unfamiliar with, I am going to pick a relatively easier area, a temperate forest, so it can grow year round. I am also going to pick somewhat hilly area on a river. I want to kind of try a world where I can use the water generator. I've never used that before, and I do want to see what it is like. I am playing basically unmodded, but I also do have one mod, and it is the Prepare Carefully mod, so then I can edit my pawns here, which I've gone ahead and done. Basically, what I wanted to do is I set all their abilities to 0. I set a few passions on each one, and we have made 2 brothers, Triv, which is me, and then Beaver, which is just somebody random. And with that, we're going to obviously set them as brothers before I forget. And we're going to see what happens with them. It's going to be very rough for me because, again, I've never done this difficulty mode. But here on the first day, I did also start them with 2 wooden clubs. Basically, kind of the story that I'm going with is that these are lost brothers that were out in the world. They were left from their tribe, and now they've got to fend for themselves. So you can see our area that we have here, where we've started, looks to be actually pretty decent. We have a geyser nearby, or a steam one, that we can use for a geothermal power later on, pretty close by. We had a pretty open area that we can kind of really utilize into a short-term building and everything as well. Looking around the rest of the map, I'm just kind of checking out what we've got, see if there's anywhere else that may look a little bit better. Here we got some compacted machinery, that's looking pretty good. We did have some good grow areas, some of the high rich soil near our base that we could start at as well. There's obviously an ancient danger up there. We've got quite a few ruins that we can just easily take down and take advantage of. And I also did start my people with a little bit of pemmican as well, just to, again, pretend if you're going out, you may have some food on you. So we can take advantage of what we've got here with Triv and Beaver. We can disassemble some stuff, get some free steel, and we can start setting up our base. Again, with this, I'm going to try to not jump ahead in the research area too fast. I want to kind of like research, stay in an area kind of for a little bit, see how it goes. I'm also not really planning to be super war crimey in this game, hopefully. We will try to play a little bit politely. But of course, as we all know in Rimworld, that could very well change. So again, as you can see, I'm clicking around. What I'm trying to find is to put the sleeping spots down because I totally forgot which pane it was in, which is unfortunately something I do all too often, even though I already have 40 hours in the game. I unfortunately do that way too much. Here we got a little boom rat that's nearby. You can see we're taking down the steel stuff. The sarcophagi take a little bit longer. And again, with that research tab, so I'm going to try and start, in the very beginning area, do as much as I can in it, things maybe I've never done before, and just kind of see how it goes and play with it. So I think that'll be kind of fun. Something that will be a little bit of a challenge for me, especially on this difficulty. So here, I'm putting together a little bit of a plan for the bedrooms. Very simple. We're just going to make it just a small little ones out of steel. No big deal. We just need to get something for them so that they're not sleeping totally outside. even though they are going to be on the floor, which is not the most comfortable, but hopefully we can get some bedrolls going for them soon. And we'll also move towards complex furniture, which I think we'll probably do first once I actually get a research station up. But that will be just a little bit, unfortunately. We need to get some food, obviously, going. So that's going to be an early game. And thankfully, since we are doing this temperate-like forest, there will be a lot of berries that we can harvest. Though, since we are low in our plant skill overall, we will get quite a few botches. So we will lose out on some free berries. But it is a nice, decent source of food early on. Along with, we have a lot of animals as well, but we will want to put together some bows so we're not going up totally in melee all the time and being damaged quite often. If you've ever done something similar to this, you will know that going to melee will give you lots of bites and scratches from those turtles, from those rabbits. We won't be going after those boom rats, of course. They go boom, obviously. So again, you can see Triv and Beaver here getting together, and it looks like we've kind of finished that off. Southwest of our base here, again, you can see we have a decent grow zone right here, and we're going to start by putting together some areas of plants here. We're going to go for some rice and potatoes, and we're actually going to do cotton as well, which is not something I would do a whole lot of, but I kind of want to see what it's like again, not play how I would normally have played so far. We're also not going to make the areas too big to start out with. Again, I don't want to just plant a ton of plants. We will do a little bit more later in this episode, but I don't want to kind of cheese too much of the food problems early on just by planting a lot of rice, getting a lot of it, and just eating it raw, because rice grows really fast and, you know, taking advantage of that. So I do love that little skill, that little button to be able to see how the zones are and the little extra growing that you can get out of it. Here we see a table. We'll definitely be repurposing that. Free steel table. Why not? It's great. We obviously do not want to commit the war crimes of having our people not eat at a table, though we will need to get some table or some chairs for them, obviously. Here again, we've got some more urns and some other items here that we can take advantage of. We got some berry bushes that are growing really well. Even though that they are a little bit lower than 100%, we're still going to try to take advantage of it. Here we're going to put together a little bit of our first little stock area so that they're just, our items are outside of the outside, they're inside of the outside. There we go. And we'll take advantage of that. Here to the southeast, we've got some free steel that we can take advantage of. Got some raccoons and some tortoises nearby as well. Again, we'll be doing some hunting here in a little bit once we kind of actually get a bow. Since our plant skill is a little bit low, actually tearing down some of these trees unfortunately is a little bit slow. Punching a tree with a low skill, unfortunately, is not quite like Minecraft, I believe it is. So here we're going to be putting that together. Beaver does have a little bit of a lower construction skill, and I realized I didn't really show my skills too closely in this, but I will definitely make sure on the next episode to show what they have a little bit closer. So again, early on, I still forget to do things. So I forgot to keep prioritizing deconstructing these items, or these steel walls there. So a lot of times you'll see a lot of inefficiencies as they will deconstruct a wall, take that immediately back, and then continue on. So quite a few things to work on, but you know, we all got to learn. We got to get better with it. So kind of ending the first day here, you know, we've got a little bit of pemmican left. We've got some of the plants started. It looks like they didn't get all the way done here. Triv and Beaver are going to enjoy at least they have their own separate rooms, but they're going to enjoy sitting on the floor. So in the morning, Triv's going to consume some pemmican here. We're going to get some nice meal going because we're not going to have very much. I think today will be about all we will have. And then it's really up to us to kind of take care of the rest. So we definitely need to prioritize getting that food going, getting some weapons made so that we can actually hunt relatively safely. Again, looking to see if we had a granite one. And again, here, I kind of realized I'm not doing things right. I really want him to get growing. I had construct going. So Beaver, I take off because I will have him hopefully be a little bit more on the planting side and taking care of things. So we want him over there to sow in the fields. Crafting spot here, I check out some stuff. We will need to make the short bow first. The recurve bow unfortunately has too high of a construction skill. We cannot, or I'm sorry, crafting skill. We cannot take advantage of that, unfortunately. So a little bit later in the day here, as they're moving on, you can see the rice field looks to be done. The next field is the potato field, and Triv is working on our first bow, which also Beaver, I believe, will be our main hunter early on. So here we're taking Triv off grow, so he'll work on some other things. Kind of realized, wait a minute, I wanted Beaver to go out and harvest some berries, but I need to work on my priority list, unfortunately. So there we go. We got him back sowing the cotton. We'll definitely try and take advantage of that when we can. So we make our first bow. I don't believe the skill. Oh, it actually came out normal. I forgot what it came out to. I thought it was awful, but you know what? Normal is pretty decent for our first time. And then we're going to be making the second one here for Triv. That way, if we get raided, we have a couple ranged weapons. If we need to have both of them out trying to hunt, we can use both of them as well and not get beaten up by the rabbits. Because early on, those things love to bite you. Usually they're not too deadly, but a lot of bites can add up. And we don't have much of a medical skill. And right now, you might notice we also don't really have any herbal medicine. But there's a lot of growing outside, so we'll be able to get that as well. So clearing up here to the second day, looks like everything's going pretty well. And there we go, it's the next morning. We didn't take those berries inside, but Triv is quite ravenously hungry, but we'll be able to get that. He's going off to harvest some more berry bushes. Unfortunately, he's not very good at it, and he will fail quite a few times. Beaver, he kept some pemmican on hand, so he was able to have a nice little morning snack, and right back to cutting the grass and sowing the cotton fields. So here we got Triv working on a berry bush, and he got it and totally left it. So we're going to have it consume him because he's going to need some more food. 8 berries, not a very filling meal, as you can see. All right, Beaver, we've got going for a little bit of a walk here. And while we're out here, we've got a rat. We also have some gold ore right next to us as well, too. So for our first hunting trip, let's see how Beaver does. Well, actually, I kind of went away for a second. But Beaver does actually have a good shooting skill, even though he's not actually hitting it. He does have, I believe, a 9. We gave him the archer adult thing right there. And I think that gives him quite a few points into the shooting skill. So Beaver will be kind of like our mainline shooting defense for quite a while. But we do have our first real meat right here. A rat obviously does not have too much. We could go after some larger game, but again, I kind of want to pretend that, you know, hey, it's our first time out here. You're probably going to go after that easy game. The rats, the tortoises, hares, things like that. We will go for some larger games soon, and Triv, you can hear, is butchering it right away. Triv also does have a small passion, I believe, in cooking, so we will try to have him be our main cook once we get going, once we get a little bit more established. Right now, we're taking down some of these slate walls, I believe it is, and we're going to make our first stools so our people do not think we are committing war crimes by having them eat without a table. We can't have that in the world of Rimworld, obviously. And see, we can go back over some berry bushes. We'll be collecting quite a few of those, and unfortunately Beaver decides not to collect them as well as he goes along. That's okay. Those thankfully do not spoil very quickly, and they do deteriorate a little bit, but it will be okay. So looking at a research bench, seeing how much slate it takes, we will want to be getting one of those going pretty soon so we can start researching. We definitely are going to need to get real beds. We're going to need to get stone cutting going. You know, we need to get moving on some of the stuff. But it will take a little bit before we can get there. So while we're doing that, we have some meat, but we've got a tortoise that's nearby, and we have some short bows. Let's see how we do against this little turtle right here. It's a little bit of target practice for Triv. Beaver is, even though he's got a 9, well, there you go. He gets the kill shot. You can see Beaver's going to take it. Let's get that wood inside as well. A little bit later on, here we are deconstructing some of the rest of the stuff, and we get our first event, some disease for Triv, which we're going to have probably for quite a few episodes. We have muscle parasites. Muscle parasites is thankfully not deadly, it seems like, but it takes, I believe, 300% of curing to cure it. we have very little in our skill, it's going to take a while. Thankfully, since it's not deadly, all it's going to do is take how quickly our rest goes down and everything else. We do find a dead raccoon while I was searching around the map during some sleeping time, and we can see right there, we're going to take it. We also found then an ibex ram that was killed as well, so we're going to be scavenging like mad. You can see we've taken that raccoon. I've already skinned it. We've got the leather there just sitting, rotting away because I'm so good at this game. And we've already got the deer, the ibex deer, ram, whatever you want to call it, dead as well. Beaver, thankfully, he's smart. He's cleaning up. He's taking stuff inside so it doesn't rot away. And we've got a little squirrel nearby. It must go. We need all the meat that we can get early on. We do have to watch to make sure that it doesn't spoil, though. So we will be keeping an eye on that, hopefully. Spoiler alert, some does spoil. So again, I don't have Beaver even assigned to cooking. So let's go have Triv Butcher. You know what? He can get up. Those muscle parasites, those don't matter. Later on, we get a flash storm. Over here in the northwest area, and you can see it already starts a fire. I'm sure that will be totally fine, and nothing bad will happen. That poor raccoon just about got hit. We've got a few more berries that we can harvest, and we've got some more steel that we need to tend to. Unfortunately, Triv is getting a little bit hungry here, but we can put him to work. Those muscle parasites are going to make things a little bit challenging for him. You can see the wild heal root that we've got going. We're going to begin that. Flash storm's over not too long later, and here with our research bench, we're kind of looking. We've got the wood. We thought about putting it out here, but we want it inside so we at least don't have the outside penalty. And Triv is going to be our main researcher, very likely. So we're going to have him starting to work on that. That way he can start researching. That's the whole point. Here you can start to hear the fire. Oh, hello. I've never had a fire like this in my playthrough quite yet. It's not done, we'll just say. I don't know what kind of effect it will have any long term in that area. We'll see. I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens with it. But all the other fires I've ever had while playing have been while there's been rain. So the fires have gone out naturally. This one did not. So I'm kind of curious to see what will happen. Beaver there taking some of the tortoise meat. Driv finishing the research area, and then we're going to decide on what we're wanting to do. I was trying to find where the beds were, and for some reason I thought it was under complex clothing, and I don't see the bed as an option. So again, in my noobness, I decided, wait a minute, can we make a bed already? And I'm like, no, obviously we can't. There we are, complex furniture. There's the bed, there's the armchairs, things like that. Hooray, we found it. We're going to be doing that first. It's going to take us quite a while. Triv's got a lot of work to do besides that. He also has the muscle parasites that he's going to have for a long time. And we're going to lower the cleaning priority. There we go. Fire still going nice and strong. We're also looking to see if maybe some free animals have died during it, but it doesn't look like it. Wow. Unfortunately, yeah. The northwest area is going to be looking a little bit rough. Thankfully, though, it did not hit us. So you can still see it burning here. We're kind of checking along here, and we get finally what we're going to call our area. To be honest, I didn't even think about what to call us, and when this popped up, I was just lost. So I decided to hit randomize a few times to see what sounded good. And looking at it, the Green Thicket Kin League. You know what? That sounds pretty good. It is pretty green over in this area, at least where we're at right now. And then looking for the settlement name itself, going through the randomized list. Be coming along here very soon. Busto Pit sounds kind of weird. We're not going with that. Gammon sounded good if you played World of Warcraft, but White Tree. You know what? I like that. Those trees in the northwest, they're going to be white with ash pretty soon, so I felt like that was pretty fitting. Also, we have a lot of trees in the area as well. Here we can see Beaver getting moving on the day. He's going to go harvest some berry bushes. Looking at some of the animals nearby, we're going to go on a little bit of a hunting spree. I really shouldn't have done this hunting this way. It feels really inefficient, as we will see here in just a little bit. The AI keeps them at max range, which I get so they don't get attacked. But it also leads to a lot of inefficiencies like this, where they do not get into a good position. I thought the timber wolf here was going to attack us or steal our food. Gives us a nice little bark saying, good job, friend. We get a hare, and we're bringing it back. Triv finally starting some research. You can see it's slow. It's going to take a while. A little bit later here, we're going after the little alpaca that we have here. We do hit it. We've hit it in the kidney and the right leg and the body. Guaranteed death, 11 hours as long as it doesn't run off the map. There it is. Beaver actually showing some skills. We've got quite a good bit of meat now that should last us a few days. We're also working on our leather, so hopefully we can make some bedrolls here soon if we don't get our beds going pretty quickly. Triv burning the night away. We realize we're kind of have no recreation. I decided not to make the hoop ring for some reason, which is quite a bit quicker. I went for the game of for some reason, but we don't have enough wood. So Triv is going to go out there and start on it, but I ended up putting him back on researching because we need that researching. But first, we get a nice little shot across the river. There we go. We have another guaranteed death, assuming that Beaver, the alpaca, does not run off. And again, here you can see the hunting AI, a little bit bad. It's trying to shoot it at max range while it's trying to run away, and we don't even shoot many shots. You can see we did have some meat rot away in storage. Unfortunately, I did not notice that was happening and just eat it before that happens. There we go. Beaver finally shoots. He hits. That alpaca is going to be dead very soon. And unfortunately, now Triv has a mental break. Final straw is being sick. You're going to be sick for a while. He's going to have to get over it. So a little bit later here, as we haul that back, Triv is unfortunately really sad. And he's going to go for a little bit of a walk. We're going to continue eating, and we're going to go back to harvesting our rice plants for the very first time. So this will also help us a lot. We do want to get a fire going here soon. I kind of made a decision not to do a fire for some reason. I wanted to go towards a fueled stove first. Not sure what that decision was for, but it was just kind of a little thing that I decided. We will be making probably some pemmican early on, just simply because it lasts for a while. We're not going to have refrigeration. That may be a good idea. I'm a little bit up in the air. I may make simple meals. Not 100% sure. You can see we're having a few harvest botched, but we are getting our first rice going. It's a very good time here in the green thicket league or whatever we were called. But we are a white tree. We'll go with that. We'll just call ourselves the white tree. That'll be easier. Beaver continues working on sowing here, and you can see our potato plants are coming along pretty nicely. Triv is going to sleep now, even though he's still in a mental area. Hare is coming by near us. I was thinking about taking advantage of it and shooting it, but I decided not to. Triv decides to wake up and eat some berries because he's really hungry. He goes to yell at Beaver for being a jerk and goes for a walk. Beaver here is getting pretty hungry. His recreation is terrible. We're going to go eat, give him some fun. I'm sure nothing bad will happen this day. He's also at a near major break risk simply because his recreation is so low. We need to work on that game of error so he can have some fun. Again, I should have made the hoopstone ring first. It's really quick to make. This unfortunately has a lot, I believe, higher skill. There's that little rabbit that we saw earlier. Hope he's doing well. Maybe we can say hi to him in just a little bit. Beaver's going to continue working on this. His construction skill is a little bit lower than Triv's, so it's going to take a little bit longer here. And we have a mad hare. Which hare is it? Why, it's our friend we didn't decide to shoot. Thank you, Randy Random, for rewarding with that. Triv, unfortunately, is still in his daze. He's walking while being bit. We might lose him. Beaver here is going after the rabbit. I thought about shooting, but I decided not to. And you can see here, Beaver has finally got there. He's beating him up. Go, rabbit, go. Go, Beaver, go. And we won. Hooray. And we leveled up our melee skill as well. All right, you can see Beaver. We're going to have to take care of ourselves. Boy, Triv, death in 19 hours. That rabbit really, really hurt him. We're not too surprised, though. You can see him just bloody and bruised. Wow. That was a heck of a fight from our first rabbit that decided to go mad. And somehow here, I had some trouble trying to get Triv to be able to be rescued. I don't know what was going on, so I had some problems. And you know what? Because the way that Triv's been acting, whatever. Let's go finish our game. That way we can actually get some recreation and have some fun here. But not sure what was going on. I had set it as a medical, but Triv is going to head back in there. He's going to get some rest. His mood is really, really sour. He is not looking good. You can see all those bites. Wow, they really did a lot of damage to him. So we will get that taken care of, though, in just a second. We finished the board game, And there goes Beaver taking care of Triv. You can see Triv was none too happy about that. A little later on, we're gonna need to make some food. And you know what? Even though Triv is all hurt and in pain, he needs to figure it out how to deal with it. So we're gonna have him butcher a creature here. Beaver's gonna go work on getting some berries. We're running a little bit low on food here, so we need to get that taken care of ASAP. Though Triv decided not to butcher the alpaca, he went and got his friend the rabbit right there. As you can tell, he was getting some revenge after all the bites that he took. So he's gonna butcher him, and we're gonna have some leather from it. We really need to get a butcher's table going here soon. I think it is much more efficient with that. And then he's gonna do the alpaca. A little bit later on, we need to do a little bit more planting. I decided it was time to do a little bit of an expansion. We don't want to do a ton, but we're going to do a little bit extra here. We're going to do another rice. I think we're going to do another potato plant here as well. That will take care of hopefully some of our food issues in the near future, but good green areas. And we do have some other green areas nearby if we want to take advantage of that. And so going a little bit later here, we're going to be going on some hunting. We have an alpaca that had been damaged earlier. He's going to be dead in 2 hours. Let's end his misery, and let's also get these steel columns. That sound is just so brutal when you do slit their throat, unfortunately. I hate listening to it. But here we can see Triv is working on the fields here, cutting down some trees with his hands. He's feeling a little bit better. I'm not sure if he's fully healed yet, but we're going to put him to work. A little bit later on, we found a dead timber wolf now. Whatever's been killing these things has been quite beneficial for us. It's been helping our food supply, and I will take that, no questions asked. And here we can see we're going to be doing a little bit more harvesting, and now we found another dead tortoise this time. Again, thank you to whatever's been killing them and not eating them all. We've been finding them before they've rotten, so it's been great. Here we can see we've been planting on the fields. Triv is going to be just lounging. This poor muscle parasites is making things a little bit difficult for him. Potato plants are going pretty well. They're getting close to a harvest here, and our rice is going pretty well. Here you can see the after effects, all the fire that happened. We got some steel slag chunks, a mega sloth there. Wow, that was a lot of damage from that flash storm that happened earlier in this episode. And I'm just really curious to see if all this will kind of come back, or if it's just going to be kind of dead. I don't know. Maybe we can kind of plant it and maybe see if we can improve it. A little bit later on here, we get a combat supplier, our first one. We don't really have a whole lot to sell, but it's nice just to see them. We can see Triv here is just getting some final steel from these ruins here, but we'll see what these people have for sale, and maybe, you know, we'll see. All right, so you can see Triv here is going to be going for some more steel because we're going to need that, and we're checking out Beaver here. He's getting close to being rested. We will have him talk to the traders here. Since they are combat suppliers, really they're probably only going to buy our wooden clubs, which isn't going to be too much. Triv needs another round of curing. But as we kind of close out this episode, I do want to say thank you for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will like or subscribe as well. I do plan to put out more of these. The goal is probably once a week, maybe once every other week. It's going to all depend on my schedule and everything going on. Unfortunately, real life takes precedent. You can see, though, that we are checking out what they've got. Way too expensive. We're only going to get 10 silver for our 2 wooden clubs. Honestly, I probably should have just kept the wooden clubs in case I did need them for something. But thank you very much for checking out this episode, and let's enjoy the little bit of finale, and I hope that we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.